Good afternoon and welcome on this panel that will address the issue of energy security dimension in the energy union. Energy security is quite on the top of the debate lately. The whole European neighborhood is in shambles and in political turmoil, involves both transit and production countries. At the same time, especially gas is becoming very global. It's very abundant and cheap at the moment, and the European demand is set to be quite stagnant for quite a while. So on the other hand, on the demand side, we should really ask whether there is a big problem with energy security in Europe. Against this picture, the European Union elaborated an energy union strategy, which is very comprehensive. Security is just one of the multiple dimensions of these strategies, and this exposes in a way the difficulty to have a common framework for energy securities. There are member states that tend to frame it in strategic terms, other member states that tend to frame it in more commercial terms. So, as we see, there are many issues at stake. We hope that the panel will help us clarifying some of them. So I would like to ask to Adrian Davidoiu, who is Director General for Strategic Affairs at the Romanian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to frame the debate in the strategic terms, to give us a Romanian perspective on what are the geopolitical challenges for Europe when it comes to energy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate very much being here. I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me. Definitely, it is a very topical issue. I don't know how challenging or provocative I will be, because I will express more or less the opinion of the governmental opinion, the opinion of the Foreign Ministry on these developments. I would say that this forum organized by Aspen Institute represents an excellent platform to focus also on the challenges, risks and threats to energy security, and to jointly assess issues related to critical energy infrastructure protection. In fact, the exchange of ideas among participants is a useful exercise for better understanding the engagement of key energy players in the regions, particularly with regard to the future framework of energy security in the extended European landscape. Energy security represents a growing challenge beyond the need for strategic awareness on some regional and global trends. In this context, I would say that today's discussions are both timely and important, given the current uncertainties and crises at the eastern and southern borders of NATO and the EU, carrying an energy component as well. We have not only witnessed significant changes in terms of supply, demand and energy flows, but we have noticed once again that the energy issue could amplify economic and political tensions, being directly linked to security. The security implications of energy-related developments should be therefore a natural topic of discussion, including a strategic level. Allow me to remind you that on the 25th of February this year, the European Commission has released the project Energy Union, a framework document providing the necessary guidelines for the long-term transformation of the European energy system and resetting of the EU energy policy. In our assessment, the ENU proposes the reshaping of the energy system in Europe, providing guidance to implement new technology and to use resources more sustainably and efficiently, but also on increased competition in the energy market and more affordable prices for EU consumers. The ENU covers the completion of the energy market integration, strengthens the coordination of national policies, removes market barriers and energy isolations, lowers energy prices for consumers, upgrades infrastructure and attracts investment in the energy focus, with a focus on innovative technologies and green production capabilities. The ENU addresses especially the transformation of European energy consumption by decarbonizing gradually the economy and establishing a long-term process to significantly reduce the proportion of hydrocarbons in European energy consumption. It can be estimated that, if realized, the ENU project will have a direct impact both on the domestic productions in EU area and on imports of energy within EU, being thus able to influence the EU consumer profile and the Union's relation with major external oil producers. Romania pays a special attention to ENU, which promotes the principles of solidarity and trust between member states and will strengthen the EU's single voice on energy in relation with its external partners. We remain firmly committed to the process of putting into practice the ENU with a focus on ensuring the consolidation of security of energy supply. And we believe that the orientation debate that took place at the Energy Council in June 2015 on the implementation of the energy security strategy is a step in the right direction. In our view, it is important also to have a governance system of the ENU flexible enough for the member states in order to allow them to preserve their right to establish the energy mix, the type of resources and technologies in order to attain the objectives in the field of energy and climate change. At the same time, it is essential to ensure a functional internal energy market, the use of indigenous resources and the technological neutrality of the energy mix, as well as the diversification of sources and routes, so as to strengthen the energy security of the member states. In order to achieve the objectives of the ENU, it is our view that each member state should identify its own national energy strategy based on the freedom to establish the energy mix, the right levels to achieve this objective, as well given to the national specificity. At the same time, we need to acknowledge that energy security is also built from within. The EU needs to have a common vision, common objectives, and speak with a single voice. We need to reduce fragmentation, and we need the Commission to strengthen governance and enforce implementation of the energy legislation. It is also crucial to implement and finance with priority the key energy projects which are aimed at consolidating the energy security of Europe's vulnerable regions. In this respect, Romania appreciates the Commission's initiative to create a framework for facilitating the regional dialogue in the Central and Eastern Europe, the CESE group, one of the most exposed regions as regards the energy security. In particular, we pay a special attention to maintaining the Republic of Moldova in the framework of the future European Union energy configuration, including from the perspective of energy interconnection projects between Romania and the Republic of Moldova. Romania also supports an increase in transparency of the agreements concluded with third parties in the field of energy. Furthermore, we agree to the necessity to verify their conformity with the EU legislation in force, legislation which should reflect EU priorities in the field of energy security, while taking into consideration the implication of the confidential character of the information comprised in the contracts concluded with third parties on the operators in the internal energy market. We will follow closely the evolution of the future debates at EU level on this topic. And in this respect, I would say that we definitely support the development of a genuine EU energy diplomacy. Ladies and gentlemen, briefly, let me address the energy security from another perspective. This is a top priority for Romania, and we think it would be appropriate to increase the visibility of this subject also on NATO's agenda. The alliance expertise and capabilities can bring added value to the efforts in the international community in this regard. The 2010 NATO strategic concept envisaged an appropriate representation of NATO's added value in managing new challenges affecting allied security, including the topic of energy security. Energy security could be seen in correlation with other fields, such as maritime security, terrorism, natural disasters, and climate change. We need to be aware of the domino effect that can be generated by disruptions in this area. Problems in energy security could severely affect the functioning of our economy as well as the overall European stability, and they are beyond the ability of any single state to solve. Energy security, therefore, is an essential component of the European security. Given the circumstances, NATO needs to continue to enhance its situational awareness on the security pertaining to the Eastern neighborhood and the Black Sea area. The Russian-Ukrainian crisis also has an relevant energy security dimension. The negative effects in this area might have security implications, but may entail also energy risks, given Ukraine's role as a transit country. Therefore, we believe that NATO could serve as a forum for consultation on risks and vulnerabilities in energy security, both for allies and partners of strategic importance, such as Ukraine. Cooperation in the field of energy security through political dialogue and consultation, and practical cooperation with NATO partner countries should be developed also by using the 25+N format meetings according to thematic or geographical criteria. We have witnessed the interest of partner countries for dialogue and cooperation with NATO in this field, and we believe that NATO's answer should be a positive one. We also expressed a great interest in stimulating the Euro-Atlantic business community to invest in the Romanian energy sector, and we intend to confer the Black Sea a bigger role on the EU's energy map. We encourage strengthening the cooperation with countries from South Caucasus and Central Asia, regions where the Alliance and the EU have long-term interest, not only in terms of security. These are key regions for Europeans' energy security, connectors between Europe and Asia in terms of trade and energy. They play a role in mitigating security risk and serve as bridgeheads for NATO into Afghanistan. We welcome the fact that partner countries from the wider Black Sea region, such as Georgia, Ukraine, Azerbaijan, have introduced this issue in their dialogue and cooperation with NATO, both in multilateral and individual framework, and this is a trend we very much encourage. Engaging with partners beyond our borders for cooperation and energy security is an ambitious endeavor and should be a significant part of Alliance's response to new security challenges. Finally, distinguished participants, we believe that a strong transatlantic partnership and deepened cooperation between NATO and the EU remain essential for the European security. Vulnerabilities on the global energy map require a more resolute EU approach and coordination with NATO's capability to assess risks and project stability. Both the EU and the Alliance must work together more closely to enable the necessary technological leap, which will result in a cleaner and more efficient use of energy. How we deal with the ramification of energy will also have significant impact on our military capabilities throughout the 21st century. When speaking about energy challenges at the EU level, as well as in the NATO framework, we need to focus on consultation, strategic assessment, and contingency planning. And we need to develop resilient capacities to protect critical energy infrastructure. The collective efforts within both EU and NATO must be complemented by member states' responsibility for their own energy sector. Deeper cooperation among EU and NATO member states in the energy field will also strengthen our cohesion and solidarity when dealing with Russia on energy matters. I am confident that the work of this forum will contribute to the efforts to build a better energy security environment based on effective capitalization of existing capabilities at national level and promotion of synergies at regional and European level. Thank you.